The FanDuel Racing YouTube channel has everything you need for the road to the 2026 Kentucky Derby. Watch every can't-miss race replay, get contender updates, and expert analysis, and go behind the scenes with exclusive features. Make sure you subscribe to get the best racing content all year long. From coast to coast and across the globe, FanDuel Racing on YouTube has you covered.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us here on FanDuel TV, and happy National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. Hopefully you've got yourself a couple of good scoops, maybe some whipped cream and some sprinkles. We've got the cherry on top of your Sunday here on a Saturday on FanDuel TV. Thank you for joining us in all of our social programs, including the FanDuel YouTube channel. Subscribe and check that out if you haven't quite yet. Here's what we have this morning for you. We'll get you a weather update from the 4 different tracks. That's right, 4 tracks we have an on-site presence for. We're also going to preview today's 2 Kentucky Derby prep races, as well as look back at yesterday's 2 Kentucky Derby prep races, give our thoughts on how those horses could move forward along the Derby trail, and of course the return of a champion, actually 2 champions at Oaklawn Park, coming up later on this afternoon. And to help me with the program here on a Saturday morning, we're going to bring in, that's right, not Saturday night for the quarters, it's Saturday morning, Jose Contreras. Good morning, my friend.
How are we doing on a Saturday morning? Yes, plenty of good weather, which is great news, as we all know over the last few weeks. Gulfstream Park, fast and firm, 77 degrees. Tampa Bay down, fast and good, 72 there, the high. Oaklawn, sunny, 60, fast, great conditions. And then out on the west coast here, San Diego Park, 75, fast and firm. Very good prognosis here for the weather for some very important races later this afternoon.
Well, great news on those conditions out there. 60 degrees in Hot Springs, Arkansas, when it was about a third of that earlier on this week. Well, talked about the road to the Kentucky Derby. Yesterday, Oaklawn hosting the Southwest Stakes. Last year's Arkansas Derby winner, Sandman, he's returning today at Oaklawn Park. The Withers Stakes went to a bargain, modest $31,000 purchase price for Rudy Rodriguez. Talk to me, Jimmy. He picked up big points there. And then today, the Robert B. Lewis Stakes. Bob Baffert has won this race 7 years running, but there are 2 outsiders who could upset him in that race. And then the Sam F. Davis Stakes down in Oldsmar, Florida, where the favorite is a maiden? That's right, Renegade, who was a good second in the Remsen Stakes last time out. He'll be returning there at Tampa Bay Downs. And at Tampa Bay Downs today, we're going to bring in Matt Carruthers. Matt, how's the weather out there in Oldsmar, Florida?
I mean, there's a reason, Curtis, they played the Super Bowl 5 times here in Tampa, because it is beautiful this time of year. It is spectacular. There is abundant sunshine. There's not a cloud in the sky. Temperature probably hovering around, I don't know, 67, 68 degrees in the sun, where I am currently located right in the midst of the sunshine. It feels like about 75, 80, but it's absolutely glorious for a great card, Sam F. Davis Day. Next weekend, they celebrate their 100-year anniversary at Tampa, but today's all about 20 points towards the Kentucky Derby, and this is always a good race. But usually when you look at the Sam Davis, you're not blown away with horses that you're thinking, oh, this horse has a chance to win the Derby. That's not the case. That is not the case this year. Renegade is a horse. You mentioned him. He's a maiden. He actually had a terrible trip and was your unofficial winner in a maiden race over Paladin in New York, October 17th. I thought it was a little bit of a controversial DQ. I think it could have gone either way. It went against Renegade. He was disqualified. I think he was probably the best horse in that race. Paladin was put up. And then he ran second to Paladin, who, if the Derby were to be run, let's just say next Saturday, Paladin would be one of your favorites. Probably favorite, second choice, or third choice right now. So Renegade's going to be pretty short. He's 8-5 on the morning line. Another thing about Tampa today is you get, I guess, the 2 premier riders in the game, right? They're both competing at Tampa Bay Downs. We have Flavian Pratt and we have Irad Ortiz, both doing their thing. Main track, obviously fast. Turf course, they had some rain earlier in the week, and they protected the turf course because of the big day today, but they are on the grass. All races remain on turf, and the turf course is listed as good. So that's the 11th and final, scheduled to go off about 5:30 Eastern. Guys, I go back to you. I think Renegade's going to be tough. I think another maiden is very interesting in the Puma, who ran a really good second. Doesn't only start for Gustavo Delgado. So that's a look at the Sam F. Davis later on today. Renegade went for $975,000. The Keeneland September sale in 2024, 8-5 morning line. But based on what he's done against Paladin, and kind of the rough trips he's overcome to still finish pretty well, he's going to be a heavy favorite as Todd Pletcher looks to win the race for the 8th time.
Matt, thanks so much. We'll check back in with you later on. And congratulations again. If you missed it, this guy was hyping Silent Tactic all week long in the Southwest. He was on with you earlier in the week. He texted all of us yesterday saying, Silent Tactic, baby. I told you. Good call.
Yeah, nice job. And great handicapping there by Matt, tabbing that winner in the Southwest.
So that's our preview for the Sam F. Davis. We also have the Bob Lewis coming up at Santa Anita Park. And I mentioned trainer Bob Baffert has won this race 7 years running. He's going to take not 1, not 2, 3 tries at winning this year's edition. And he's got the inside 3 runners. Cherokee Nation, still a maiden, but Antonio Fresu, welcome back to the races to him. And welcome back to Southern California, Florent Giroux. You're immediately named on a Kentucky Derby contender in Plutarch, who along with Desert Gate is exiting the American Pharoah, won by the 4-horse Intrepido.
Yeah, so we have a key replay to watch here. Let's go back and revisit the American Pharoah, 3 runners out of the same event going for a rematch in the Bob Lewis.
And they're off in the American Pharoah, presented by DK Horse, and Christopherson goes straight to the front. Desert Gate has speed, though, and those two hook up right away with Intrepido in between those two. Civil Liberty broke very well, but settles down in 4th on the outside of Plutarch, and Balboa's at the back of the field. So Desert Gate hugs the rail and goes on to lead by 1.5 lengths. Christopherson is in 2nd, followed by Intrepido along the inside, and Civil Liberty is 4th, 3 lengths off the lead. Plutarch in a tad tight down at the rail, backs off now, 5th and 4 lengths off them and 4 clear of Balboa. They swing on to the backstretch. Desert Gate and Christopherson, the 2 favorites, heads apart as they head toward the half-mile pole in the American Pharoah Stakes presented by DK Horse. In behind them, Intrepido is sharing 3rd with Civil Liberty. Plutarch gets some breathing room and takes advantage of it. Plutarch all the way up to take 3rd. It's a pretty big gap to Balboa, who has trailed throughout. Desert Gate comes to the 3/8 pole, leading by a 1/2 length over Christopherson in 2nd. Intrepido, Plutarch along the inside, Civil Liberty, and Balboa's gotten closer now. 5 lengths covers the field as Christopherson puts his head in front with 1/4 mile to go. Desert Gate comes right back for more. Desert Gate, Christopherson. Desert Gate has the lead at the top of the stretch. Is asked to finish the job by Juan Hernandez now and opens up 2 with 1 furlong to go. Here's Plutarch along the inside, trying to challenge him in 2nd. Intrepido running a good race, 16th pole. It's Desert Gate. Plutarch on the inside, hugs the rail and just keeps coming at him. Plutarch on the outside. Intrepido erupts, and Intrepido and Hector Berrios took off the final 16th to win the American Pharoah, presented by DK Horse over Plutarch and Desert Gate.
Well, as you said, Jose, that was a key replay to watch because those top 3 finishers all close on the wire. They're all coming back here in the Bob Lewis Stakes. But there's a newcomer to this group in the form of Secured Freedom, who on Malibu Stakes undercard, an 88 buyer breaking his maiden. He'll have to stretch out to 2 turns, but it looks like there's plenty of speed for him to chase after.
Yeah, and the main question, I think, when you watch that replay is, has Desert Gate and Plutarch taken that next step forward, and can Intrepido bounce back to that form we saw back in the American Pharoah?
Yeah, he was a big play for me in the juvenile, and Jeff Mullins, the trainer, said he got a little antsy in the gate. They grabbed his ear to calm him down, and that was it for him. Didn't work out. But that's coming up in the Bob Lewis Stakes as we bring you back here into the studios. Take a look at the list of illustrious winners for Bob Baffert in the Bob Lewis Stakes. Citizen Bull and Nisos, the last 2 horses to win. If you remember, they were heads apart in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last fall. Newgate, Messier, Medina Spirit, who crossed the wire first in the Kentucky Derby that year. 1,000 Words making his mark as a stallion. Mucho Gusto would end up winning the Pegasus World Cup. We heard the unfortunate news, More Spirit just passed away as a stallion in Korea, but then Dortmund flashback. Who's adding their name to this list? Will it even be a Bob Baffert horse? Stay tuned here on FanDuel TV to find out. For more on Plutarch, we had a soundbite. We were initially talking to Bob Baffert about Nysos, and he just happened to give us some info on Plutarch. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, this again is really good and nice. Very good.
Were you on Plutarch earlier?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's doing good, isn't he?
Yes, doing great.
He's sneaky good, that one.
Yeah. I think he's one of the best.
Huh?
I can say he's one of the best.
Yeah. I mean,
seriously.
I like his style. His style, you have to come off the pace now. He's the best bred horse in the barn.
Well, Plutarch, a son of the champion mare Stellar Win, has looked pretty stellar when going 2 turns. His win came on turf, but there is pedigree, Jose, to suggest that he'll handle the dirt.
And you know what's cool about that little sidebite is like, were you on Plutarch? You're like, yes, I was. He's doing good, huh? I think he's one of the best. So right off the bat, even though they were not even focused on Plutarch, they kind of were lining each other up like he's getting there.
And Florent Giroux back in Southern California, he'll be aboard Plutarch. Christina Blacker checked in with him.
Well, look like he's a very nice horse, you know, he's a super well bred, you know, there's not many as bred, you know, as well as him, you know, with a champion mare, you know, like Stellar Win, and on top of it, you know, the top star in the country by Into Mischief. But now look like his 2 races actually on the dirt, you know, are very, very good. Last year, you know, when he finished third, very close third in the American Pharaoh against those 2 horses who's going to run back tomorrow, Desert Gate and Intrepido. So now I think he fit in there. I wish it was a little bit longer. Look like the distance is no problem whatsoever for him. I think the farther they will go, the better it will be for him. And now we'll see how it does, but we have a good post. Look like there's a good, you know, it should be a fair race. I'm hoping I have a good trip, and hopefully he's good enough, you know, to come pick them up at the end.
Black and Florent Giroux talking about Plutarch there. Well, Bob Lewis, a grade 3 event, but Florent Giroux, no stranger to winning big races at St. Anita Park. All the way back to 2014 with the Breeders' Cup Sprint, a couple of races on turf with Bolo and Hit the Road, and then the distaff, as you see him celebrating here with Idiomatic. Career win percentage at Santa Anita, 11% from 55 career mounts, so 5 for 55. But he also began his career out here in Southern California riding a different type of horse.
Yeah, I was down at the grandstand when he rode Arabians at Los Alamitos back in 2007, I want to say. So he's no stranger to Southern California. He's been out here, and he's obviously been on board of many, many good horses. So moving his ship to this tactic to California, I think is going to be a good move for him to try to get back into the flow of things.
Yep, and Bob Baffert trusting his very confident handling on Plutarch. So we had 2 preps today. Yesterday we had a pair of Kentucky Derby preps at Oaklawn Park. We had the Southwest Stakes, and that was quite the scrambling finish there. Lots of horses stretching out, showing up plenty of speed. It ends up being a horse from off the pace who wins the Southwest Stakes.
The Grade 3 Southwest, 20 points on the line towards the 2026 Kentucky Derby.
The 11 Silent Tactic. I'm very intrigued by this horse's runner-up finish in the Smarty Jones. He was last at one point. He had to work out a trip, and he was second best, but he still ran an exceptionally good race. I'm happy with this price. He's 12-1. That's my top pick.
With the number 11 Silent Tactic, a physical comment, this horse looked a lot fitter today than he did last time out. He's always kind of been a heavier horse, but definitely today looks tighter than he did last time out in the Smarty Jones.
Derby qualifying points on the line. The Grade 3 Southwest.
When he went out, his stride lengthened. He just got better and better as the further he went. So he wasn't your typical breeze horse, but he did everything right that you would ask for a horse that is bred the way he's bred, and he looks magnificent.
Pretty confident coming into this race and his fitness, so I knew there was going to be a lot of pace in the race, so I was not worried about being closer or wherever I was going to be. I just broke and let him be wherever he wants to be, and he responded at the quarter pole, and he showed up.
They're off the turn. Silent Tactic comes from out of the clouds.
He was weaving, trying to figure out where to go. He comes up all the way on the outside, and he's gobbling up ground here in the final stages.
Now here comes Silent Tactic. Silent Tactic flying down the outside, and he's going to get them all. Great call by you, Ashley. This is a horse that seemingly is just getting better and better. Silent Tactic picks up 20 Kentucky Derby points from off the pace, stormed home to win it. You can see a pumped up Christian Torres.
Just looking at the performance from Silent Tactic, to win like that is very impressive.
The connections of Silent Tactic have to be looking at this thinking first Saturday in May.
to have my son, my brother here, and the whole family, and to support the Oxleys. You know, they support us, and just to be back at this level for the first time in a few years, you know, it's awesome.
Jockey Christian Torres has always been one of the top jockeys at Oakland Park the last few meets, and it was interesting that he had taken off of Decode, who had that 99 buyer winning on debut going 6 furlongs, and went to Silent Tactic. After the race, Christian Torres mentioned that he talked to John Oxley, the owner of Silent Tactic, and Mr. Oxley said, well, how is he doing? He said, I think he's better than Strategic Risk out there. He just went out and showed it. Strategic Risk beat him in the Smarty Jones Stakes. They were 1-2. Here he flips the script and then some. And I love the celebration. I'm also a chest pounder when I get pumped up like Christian Torres.
It felt like 50 yards or 100 yards before the finish line. Yeah. Like, this race is over. I love the celebration, love the emotion. And now the Derby dream has begun after a win like that.
Yeah, very well bred to go along as well. Son of Tacitus, giving him his first stakes winner out of a gun runner mare. Well, that was one of the 2 Kentucky Derby prep races Friday. We also had the rescheduled Wither Stakes over at Aqueduct. Let's take a look back at this event. And you had Gun Runner's younger brother, Otino, in this event. You had Schoolyard Superman, both horses for trainer Chad Brown. You had a maiden in Grittiness who broke slow from the rail. A bit of a plotter early on. But early on, it was all about Talk to Me Jimmy. Ruben Silvera put him on the front end, and it was pretty much over from there.
Yeah, look at the body language right now. I think he purposely kept him wide because he know if he kept him very close to him, he probably was going to be a little bit too eager or wanted to duel. But he settled out nicely, and you can tell down the backstretch. Talk to Me Jimmy was still moving easily, and everybody seemed to be already in their body language where they were asking and asking and asking. And Talk to Me Jimmy just ran them off their feet.
And it's going to be a scintillating score for trainer Rudy Rodriguez, jockey Ruben Silvera, and SCI Thoroughbreds. Purchased this horse for $31,000 at the Keeneland September yearling sale. So who says you need to go for 7 figures to get yourself a Derby horse at the Keeneland September sale? Congratulations to those connections. And that puts Talk to Me Jimmy squarely in the Kentucky Derby picture here. He's currently tied for second with 20 points. When horses are tied, it goes then to their graded stakes earnings. But even with being 4th on the list, he's well ahead of some more well-intentioned horses here. This list will change after today's running of both the Robert B. Lewis and the Sam F. Davis. But Jose, we've got 2 winners from yesterday that suddenly look like big players on the first Saturday of May.
Talk to Me Jimmy, his official margin was 11 lengths. And the buyer came back 83 with an 11-length margin.
We have a money-back special offer for the Kentucky Derby prep races, and with more, let's check in with Christina Blacker.
We are on the road to the Kentucky Derby, and with the prep races underway, we've kicked things off earlier than ever in the FanDuel Racing app. Now through April 11th, we're rolling out an enhanced $20 money-back special on all domestic prep races as well as the UAE Derby. Here's how it works. Step 1 is to opt in the FanDuel Racing app. Then place your bet. If your horse just misses, finishing second in races with at least 5 runners, or second or third in races with 8 or more, you'll get your money back up to $20. It's that easy. And this year, we're adding a little extra motivation to keep playing the preps. If you opt in and place at least a $10 wager on 10 or more of those prep races, you'll score a $50 deposit match bonus available during Derby Week. Bet along the trail and get rewarded when the roses are on the line, and it matters most in the FanDuel Racing app.
Hey, Christina, a new offer, Road to the Derby money-back special. We have this going for you as well. Get up to $20 back now if the horse you bet to win a Kentucky Derby prep race finishes second or third. Rules and conditions apply. Check out the app or racing.fanduel.com right now. But no better time to get in on the FanDuel racing action for the Kentucky Derby than right now.
Right now, check it out. FanDuel, proud partner of the Kentucky Derby.
Oakland Park had the Southwest Stakes yesterday, but they continue with the stakes action today. We've got 2 champions returning, 2 Grade 1 winners. Sandman in race 4, his first return to the races. He did win the Arkansas Derby at Oakland Park, but also Nitrogen, who was a Sovereign Award winner as a 2-year-old filly, a Eclipse Award winner as a champion 3-year-old filly last year, and it's been just 67 days since she raced. She's already coming back in the Grade 3 Bayakoa Stakes, the ultimate goal being the Azaria and then the Apple Blossom, but She's the 4-5 favorite in here, and Jose Ortiz sees fit to ride.
Yeah, she's never raced here at Oaklawn, but she does have a good bullet workout. Like you mentioned, she has a race since the British Cup Distaff, and she is listed as a 4-5 morning line favorite. And Jose Ortiz has been aboard for many of those victories last season.
For more on Nitrogen, Andy Biancone was on the shed row for the Cassie Barn.
Well, 3-year-old Eclipse champion Nitrogen will be making her first start of 2026 in this weekend's Grade 3 Bayakoa Stakes at Oaklawn Park. She's already faced older horses. We last saw her run second in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Distaff. I often forget that she's just a 3-year-old because, like I said, she's faced older mares already and done well at that. But she looks great here. She actually looks like she's grown quite a bit. She's always been quite a big, imposing filly, but it's always nice to see those 3-year-old fillies take a step forward as 4-year-olds and fill in and get more substance, and that's certainly the case for Nitrogen. But she's settled in nicely here at Oaklawn Park and as sweet as can be, as always. But we're very much looking forward to see her run in this weekend's Bayakoa.
She'll face tough company with Narazuri, her stablemate on the rail. Christian Torres already showed this weekend he can beat Jose Ortiz in a Cassie horse. Nitrogen, though, finishing second in the Distaff last time out. A very good second behind Scylla, as we mentioned, the Eclipse Award champion 3-year-old filly. And a consistent runner, doesn't matter if it's turf or dirt, Jose, you know you're going to get at least a 90 by her speed figure.
Yeah, she's been a tremendous resume. 6 for 12, 4 seconds, 2/3, over $2 million already in earnings. And obviously very exciting to see her back for her 2026 campaign.
Nothing better than having a homebred that's a millionaire in Nitrogen, and congratulations to the DJ Stable team. They've got quite a runner, and I'm glad to see her back here for her 4-year-old campaign. Well, if you are watching us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. Head on over to the FanDuel TV channel or the FanDuel Racing app. You can watch us all day long here, and make sure you're watching and wagering through your FanDuel Racing account. Take advantage of the Moneyback special opportunities that we have today.
Yeah, today, coming up, Gulfstream Park, races 6 and 10, Santa Anita race number 9. You can get up to $10 back for second or third on select races. All the details on racing.fanduel.com on the FanDuel Racing app.
And that's in combination with the Kentucky Derby prep race, up to $20 back for both the Sam F. Davis and the Robert B. Lewis. We'll take a quick break. When we return, live racing from around the country will get you out to Tampa, Gulfstream, Oaklawn, and more.